beats out there, so don't waste any more time searching YouTube for whack beat selling websites. Go to FurrowJarMusic.com today to cop the beat for your next hit. Mixing and mastering services available too. Once again, go to FurrowJarMusic.com. That's FARROJARRO music.com for the hottest beats in the game.
This is number one Chief Rocker Jersey Vern on a Recap Monday doing his recap show. We're going to talk about sports, entertainment. We're going to have call interviews, on the spot calls. This is just a show that will bring nothing but passion and joy and understanding to all the listeners on the Two Live Stews radio platform. The number one Chief Rocker Jersey Vern.
This is Key C from the
Kicking It With Key C show.
On the newly rebranded Two Live Stews Radio Network. We will continue to bring you the hottest, most interesting guests and commentary in the areas of social, politics, culture, music, and more. Continue to tune in.
Let's go, give it to you.
Yo, what's good? This is Trey Frazier. This is the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Make sure y'all tune in to us every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time.
He's the brain of operations.
I'm telling you right now, book it!
And him, he's along for the ride. But together, they bring you sports like you've never heard before. The Wait a Minute Show, a new way of discussing today's trending sports topics. And now, back to the show with your host, Jolani J.B. Bodie.
Indeed! Yeah, that's my man Lopan who in the building with me tonight. Can I say it again? Indeed! Boy, that thing hurt the throat saying that. But we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and I've been thinking about this the entire show. Actually, I've been thinking about this probably the past 2 days. And I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to do it because I was trying to stay away from it. But as the show's been going on, hopefully, just me getting a little upset didn't influence this. But Mocha Bella, if you are out there, there will be a Big L Award tonight. Yep. Gotta do it. Got to do it. I was thinking about it over the break, and I said, you know what? There's only one reason that I have to do this, because I did not want to do it. So I will tell you what the Big L award recipient is tonight. So just stay tuned. We're going to finish up these topics, and then we'll get into the Big L award. I got to do it. I have to do it. And I think it would be fitting for this particular case. And after I explain it, I think you'll understand. So, again, you listen to the Wait a Minute Show with your man, Jelani J.B. Bodie, and my co-host, Lopan. And we are in the building tonight on the Two Live Stews Radio Network. So before we finish up this NBA talk, make sure on Saturdays, make sure 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, make sure you follow the show as well, thewaitaminuteshow.com. I do another show on Saturdays as well. It's just as crazy as this one is. It's just as impactful. Lopan is pumped up. So 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we get it in as well. So all you got to do is go to thewaitaminuteshow.com and then also follow the show. You can follow Facebook or you can follow on Twitter. You'll see the icons, down there. And support your boy, man. Get yourself a Wait a Minute Show t-shirt. You can get that on there as well. And last but not least, Lopan might come visit you at your house. We may have a raffle where Lopan comes to your house and it's just like do boy Lopan, where he would do whatever it is that you want. Go get groceries for you or something like that, or clean your kitchen or something like that. So I'm thinking about something like that. Lopan said he would do it. Indeed. All right. So, but he still reserved the right to change his mind as well if he does. Indeed. Okay. But let's get into this basketball news. So Mark Cuban, I talked about him earlier. He is in the hot seat, right now. And it's basically for, lack of knowledge, with his team and with his, not necessarily his team, his organization, his company, which is the Dallas Mavericks. And there's two situations out there. The first one was with a former writer on Mavs.com by the name of Earl Sneed. And Earl Sneed, let me make sure I have this up here. This dude basically he had problems. He had domestic violence problems. He was dating people at the workplace. He was putting his hands on people, injuring them. And this was reported to the HR director by the name of Buddy Pittman. And nothing was done as far as this dude not having a job for years. And so Mark Cuban, said that he wanted to try and help this guy. He didn't want to, just send him on his way. He wanted him to get help and go to domestic violence classes, I think, which the Earl Sneed did do. But it didn't help. And he's continued the behavior. So now Mark Cuban is in the hot seat for this, saying that he made a hostile situation, at work for his employees, not just the women, but just for everybody. I think it made it an uncomfortable situation. He said he could have handled it better. Now he is taking, responsibility for it. Which is good, because some folks, they would just try and come with some roundabout answer why it's not their fault or it shouldn't be their fault, this, that, and the third, and all that. And now I know some people have been talking about, and we're gonna go into it a little bit deeper. They're talking about, maybe he should have his team taken away from him. And not just for, the domestic violence, because it goes, further into that, because it goes into a CEO that he had as well, by the name, and I'm hoping I'm not destroying this person's name, but Tardima Usuri. And this was the CEO of the Mavs, if I'm correct here in what the story is saying. And this individual had these harassment complaints against him. And they were saying that he would be in meetings and he's touching on ladies, calves and their thighs, making comments that he should not be making, behavior that is, very questionable. And this is all under, Mark Cuban. And Mark Cuban saying that this particular incident, he said he didn't know anything about that. So it begs the question, is we were just talking about, these university presidents, and everything. What could happen to Mark Cuban? He's done a lot for the league. He's assuming responsibility. Maybe he's trying to get ahead of this. But and I'm not saying that this couldn't have happened, but it's just really, to me, is not hard to believe, because that wouldn't be the right term to use. I'm surprised that he would let this happen on his watch. For a guy that is about his money, and for a guy who, in a draft room, he told everybody who they were trying to draft. And he told everybody, if anybody outside of this room mentions anything about who we're drafting, I know it's going to be someone in here and everybody will be fired. So, I mean, he's very hands-on. Everyone says he's a great, owner. Everyone says they love working for him. And I'm just surprised that something like this would happen on his watch. And I just think with this particular situation, especially how domestic violence and sexual harassment, he got both of those in his house, if you will. And people are going to work and they are having to expose themselves to this type of environment. Domestic violence and sexual harassment. Those are two big hot no-nos right now. And you got both of those sitting in your lap right now. And he's, like I said, he said he handled it wrong. But also there's this thing like, how should the NBA handle it? Someone just said in the chat room, we'll get to it in just a second, but him openly talking about tanking, they fined him $600,000 for that. So are we talking about a really hefty fine? Are we talking about possibly a suspension? Could they do him like they did Sean Payton? Like he can't have any contact with the team. Some people have said take away the team like they took the Clippers away from Donald Sterling. I don't think they're going to go that far. I don't think Adam Silver is going to go that far. But I do think that they're going to have to make an impact or some type of, message that this won't happen again. And if it's happening, you better nip it in the bud and you better take care of it right now. Because if we find out about it, as far as we as in the NBA and Adam Silver, it's going to be even more consequences. Because Mark Cuban is going to be used as the what not to do and as the poster child for, we're going to tax that, what. It's just surprising. Mo Cheese, Country Road Show said, lack of institutional control. I don't even know if it was control. Because to me, when you say institutional control, I kind of think like the opening scene to Lean on Me. It's like you got this situation and you're trying to do something about it, and there's nothing that you can do about it. What they're saying is Cuban is saying, I didn't know about this, and the other situation I just handled badly. Which is, again, it's hard to believe that he didn't know anything about the sexual harassment. And someone brought up a point where when the CEO, they did fire him, but he had been there for like 10, 15 years or something like that. He got there before Cuban bought the Mavs. And, of course, he stayed around after Cuban bought the Mavs. And then when he finally did get fired, he went to... Did he get fired? He either got fired or he left. But anyway, after being with the Mavs, he went to Under Armour, and they said he got fired for his conduct. And he was only there for maybe a year and a half. So someone begged the question, if Under Armour found out about it in less than 2 years, how could you have not known, what he was doing? So that's why I think he's in the hot seat, for this. I do think, the control Mochis, I would say, with the control, it's not enforcing harsher rules or harsher consequences. You can try and help this person out. I don't, because to me, that's the whole thing. You just let someone go and pull them off into the wind and everything. To me, you just put them off on somebody else, and then he's somebody else's problem or he's somebody else's victim. So him trying to help her. But I think there should have been, some really harsh, situations, remove him, put him somewhere, maybe, at one of your other companies.